Mr. Michael Labersi, man. How are you doing today?
Dude, I'm
Mike, how you
fantastic.
doing, man?
I'm good. I'm fantastic. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. So I got a question for you, Mike.
Okay, I've got an
What
answer.
makes you so great? Like really, really easy. Like what makes you so great?
The
I can
fact that
say
I'm
it
a
that way, right? I can say it that way. That's the conversation we want to have. We want to have a deeper conversation about that. But to come off a little bit crass it can come off that way in the form of the question. But what does make you so great, Mike? What is it about you that everybody needs to know, and
okay.
that the reason everybody needs to work with you?
Well, I guess I'm great because I'm alive, right? We're all on the same playing field there. I don't know if I'm great. I do know that I care extremely to the point of obsession about what I do for a living. Um, and I'm super enthusiastic and passionate and transparent about helping people shape their lives and change their lives and reach their goals. To be called great, I mean, that's up to other people. What I think the difference between uh, more successful coaches and people in life are people with passion, right? People that go outside themselves and say, wait a minute, let me use all my external factors to drive a result through this meat suit we call a body, and let me help this person that's coming to me change their life in a way that they want to change it. Let me channel information and then filter it so that that person can hear it. And I feel like people don't realize every one of us will have the talent, the ability, and the skill set to do that. And some of us just we're tapped. We know it. We just got tapped on the shoulder. We tried enough and we said, hey, you know what? We've got skilled at channeling, delivering, and helping other people. So, that's what I think is a big difference. I take my ego out of a lot of situations and I put myself second, and I put who I'm addressing and who I'm assisting, or the crowd I'm speaking to first. I thrive on helping others get results, and I deliver those things in many ways. Yeah. What about you, man? I mean, what makes you so great?
Well, I want to challenge something that you said there,
Okay.
and from a you said, in order for me to be great, that's for other people. I want to disagree with that. I normally don't disagree with where, but I more on the concept of that. Of If we don't believe that it's for us to believe it, in my opinion. And I've heard this a lot of places. You can think affirmations, wherever you want to go with this. We have to believe that we are great. We have to know that what we deliver is great. We have to understand that our passion and our abilities are great, and that those things are true. And then it's for other people to see it, is how I would rephrase that a little bit around, somebody else to tell me I'm great. Like that, to me, that was the asking for external validation.
Oh,
Um,
you actually misunderstood. I've
well,
trans
that's why I'm saying I heard it differently, and that's why I
I've
wanted to challenge it.
all right, so I've transcended the label in and of itself. I don't need external validation. What I mean is, if somebody wants to hold a metric, okay, let's go towards Tom Brady. Is he the greatest quarterback of all time? Statistically, according to a bunch of data and a
Mhm.
contained box, was he the coolest dude on the planet, the best quarterback to motivate? I have no idea. There's no statistic for that, right? So, in certain categories, it's up to other people to set the standards about which great is. And it's not that he needs external validation. To label somebody great means you have to establish a hierarchy of, okay, who's not great? And then who is great? And then who moves up and down? That's all external. Internal in the world, man, nobody does it better than me. I know it. And nobody does it better than you. And nobody does it better than the person in front of him. So, in the world of external internal validation, yeah, you make a good point. Uh, you want to understand that what you have to offer in the area you have to offer it in, regardless of somebody else's accomplishments in life, you're still better than them in your area. You still have a unique experience level, and how many ever years you've been on the planet, all that minutes, seconds, and hours of life. If you learn the skills on how to communicate that, you can be better than that person too, in terms of what your own experience is. And again, better only means I know my life better than you know your life. The only thing all of us coaches run around and do is aggregate information, channel some of our own personal experiences, listen well, and are able to communicate a path that somebody has to go down. Now, some of those paths are narrow, some of those paths are wide, right? People need a lot of room to kind of do this on the path. Other folks seem to just kind of follow along in a path. Either way, it's forward progress. And in some areas the path gets narrow, and in other areas the path gets wide.
Mhm.
And when it comes to being great, when it comes to being dishing out information, it's all about how somebody else receives it as well, right? And better coaches, better people understand and listen. And we say, okay, if this person's not hearing me, let me say it a different way. And let me put it in a practical manner. You can have a speech or a signature talk that you go speak to different audiences in with. And as you're delivering your talk, you can rename your talk for a different audience. Same talk, different name. People hear it differently. You can rename it again. Same talk, different name. People hear it differently. You can have many components. Like if you ever actually listen to the nuances of our show, we repeat ourselves a lot. And it depends on what segment in the episode somebody gives me a little feedback on. I know that we said it in that part of the segment in the way that person heard it. It's not necessarily an NLP trick, but it is a little bit, because we want to make sure that when we talk to an audience, especially in this format, we talk to an audience in the way that they hear it, but not the first 5 minuters may not hear it one way, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and the fifth. So, what I actually believe makes us great is the fact that we can explain ourselves in so many different ways, and we can enlighten folks, and we can enlighten people that may not have looked at something from this perspective, especially these days, man. There are
Yeah.
so many people walking around like this, which has got its merit, right? A horse needs this, otherwise, they don't spook, right?
Mhm.
However, this thing can be a window or a wall.
Oh God.
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
dude. If I put the camera feature on, I can still see you, right? But if I turn the camera feature off, I can't see anything, I can't hear anything, and my brain is sucked in
Mhm.
to other people doing their job, you know? So it's ideal, right? The entertainment factor of this little device is pretty incredible. We're on it right now. So
Right.
and it's all about how to populate it's all about how to populate the world, in my opinion, with earth moving content and things, people like us and things that we talk about, and how to really say somebody can watch one of our episodes and go put something right into good use. um, so okay, so now that we covered that external internal validation, what about you, man? Like when you were first starting out in your coaching space, you went and took this course, you went and took that course. I mean, that doesn't make you any better than anybody else. It just makes you more well-rounded and more
Mhm.
skilled and more advanced in terms of, okay, instead of sitting here doing this through 5 8 years, I did this through 5 8 years. I had multiple lines of information
Yeah.
I was consuming. Yeah, you had a practical use of time, and in that practical use of time, you absorbed a lot of information. um, I when I got my start in a couple of my businesses, what I did was I learned information, and then I went out and I obsessively applied it. I obsessively applied it. And I've always been a high volume guy. I've always been a person that's had a lot of clients and a lot of action going on. I'm not bragging, but it just afforded me the opportunity that when I was learning new skills, I integrated these practices with people. And I saw enough reps because I was paying attention, because I was mindful about it, that I said, wow, I'm getting really pretty good at when and where to start deploying this information. And then obviously you do it over so many years, you start honing in on the essence of people and what they really want. And why don't you expand on that a little bit? In other words, like tell me about your journey and your learned journey, and about what makes you so damn good at what you do.
Look, so it is that time, and we always talk about this every time. So, really quick, and we'll talk about my journey, is the fact that we're here where we are today because it's part of the journey. And the journey started in one place, and it's where it is right now. Our journey going forward is Business Battleground. It's the next season of our show. It's the next iteration. You can go to www.total-disruption.com. You can sign up to be a contestant on the show. You can find out all the platforms you're going to be able to see it on. 90 million potential viewers out there in the world that are watching us. This is a part of our journey to get here. Did we get here day one? Nope, sure didn't. But we're here now. So come to total-disruption.com, check out the show, apply to be a contestant on the show. We are absolutely looking for you in your business, and we're going to talk about why here in a minute. And if you're wanting to get ready and you're wanting to spend a little bit more time with us anyway, be a member of the guild. Come join the guild, be part of that, to where you can be part of that accountability community, get that coaching, get the extra resources, get ready for that massive visibility. Anything else to add on to that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're getting for the guild for season 2, business battle, boardroom battleground, business battleground. You're getting probably over $100,000 to $200,000 worth of coaching for a nominal engagement fee. And it is worth, if you are literally sitting somewhere wanting to go somewhere else in a part of your life, predominantly business, but personal growth as well, this is an avenue for you. This is an avenue to explore. And saying, hey, man, these guys are regular dudes. They did it. They live it. They're in the trenches with other people. They're in the trenches themselves. They've had highs and lows. And what our mission is just to help other people accelerate and get to where they have to go a little quicker through our formulas and techniques that we proved, use, and teach all the time.
Yep,
So
100%, man. Love it.
So, thanks for bringing up that season 2, and that's at www.total-disruption.com,
Well
total-disruption.com.
done.
Like that, right?
Well done.
I remember how to spell without the prompt. It's pretty crazy, right? So let's go down the Jake Clendenning journey, right? You were I really feel like this brings in some credibility to hear your journey. We've talked about mine. I've been a serial entrepreneur for 20 years. I started in the fitness space, moved still there with another business, and then moved into coaching probably 20 years ago. So I've been parallel developing businesses and loving both sides of it, because you have to be here, and then you have to be here, right? Orating, talking, doing things, right? So why don't we talk about you, man? And then some of the coursework you've done, and let's give some people some resources they can go to.
Mm-hmm.
You're a wealth of knowledge, and just empower the audience right now. So what do you have,
So,
man?
like, some my story, and I've written it. My first book, Rings of Impact. I kind of wrote where this started. Was I have always had a lot of energy, like always. I make the comment when I was a little kid, I was feral, plain and simple. Like, that's how I describe myself. And I'm still a professional small boy now, but like, from an energy perspective, like, I was Energizer Bunny all the time, always going, always outside, always running hard, always doing that. And I've put that kind of energy into everything that I've done. Sometimes for good, sometimes for not good, right? Because I was running too hard, too fast, and sometimes, but that's okay. We have to fall down. We got to scrape our knee. We got to fall off the bike to learn how to stay on the bike. Like, there's those things that happen. So, like, from an industry standpoint, I started out in construction, very young age. I was swinging a hammer at 12 years old, like professionally. Like I was getting paid at 12 years old to build as a builder in construction. And I spent a lifetime in construction and development. I did everything in it. With that energy, I always wanted to learn a little bit more so I could do a little more, so I could be a little more. I always wanted to be, that guy that supervised that crew, or that guy that supervised all the supervisors, or I was always striving to be that next best version. And that led me into a very successful career in real estate, which brought me into a CEO role in real estate. And when I stepped out of, and I kept on consuming, like Mike talked about, he was consuming. He had those lines that were going across. It wasn't I was just doing the one little thing and I kind of do this kind of thing. It was I'm working all these different angles all the time, and I'm learning more and how can I apply them to each other. It's a little more multifaceted. When I stepped out of being a CEO, I had to take a step back in that moment, because I was managing hundreds of people in a corporate setting. But I had to ask myself what I like, but there was a piece of it I really, really dug and I had to figure out what that was. And it was really the coaching and consulting piece. It was that connection. It was that relationship piece. So I started marching down that road in a very purposeful way, from all right, what are the designations I need to do this thing? And then some interesting things happened. But so I started out with a large real estate company, got certified with their coaching program. I'm not going to throw any names, or they're red. And I was a coach for them, and I got that coaching certification. And then I got a neurolinguistics programming practitioner certification, and I wanted more. So I went and got my master practitioner certification, and I wanted more. And I just, like Mike said, I kept consuming. And initially I was consuming with the intent of applying it to my clients. I need to learn a thing so that I can then rip that Band-Aid off and stick it on my clients. This isn't necessarily what happened or how it went forward. So, and I'll give you some of the, where I went with empowerment partnership. We don't get paid by them or anything, but like Dr. Matt, I loved that course with my neurolinguistics programming. It's called the Empowerment Partnership. I would absolutely give them testimonials all day. That first class,
his ads are on Facebook a lot.
His ads on Facebook. You can check him out. He has classes all over the country, and he does stuff at his home in Hawaii. So that was a big piece. There's multiple coaching certifications. I've written a coaching certification at this point. Like Mike said, every one of those is going to teach you something that you're going to pull a piece out of that and go, yeah, that's in my wheelhouse. I want to do that. And through time, you're going to develop your own proprietary style. That's just what it's going to be. Now, in the beginning, when I started out as a coach, and this is where I wanted to bring this all around to this, is I had wicked imposter syndrome in the beginning when I was first a coach. And I'll own it. I'll own it all day long. And there's still once in a while that it'll rear its ugly little head and look around, because I will take on a new client that's in an industry I'm not familiar with, an industry that I don't know all the data, I don't know all the statistics about. Here's the thing, I don't have to. Like Mike said earlier, nobody does it better than me. When it comes right down to my coaching model, what I know that works, the pieces that I know and can and apply, what I see, what I hear, what I feel, that modality conversation that we're able to have, just like speaking from stage to engage your audience, nobody does it better than me. All I have to know, I coach the person, not the business. Like that's a huge piece, and I know this is super broad. Like I can even hear it as I'm saying it in some.
Hold on, though. I'm gonna make you get not broad here in a minute. So for those of you who are like,
do it.
You ready, or are you going to keep going?
I'm ready, man. Hit me.
All right. So I'm hearing this. I'm listening. I'm like, what the hell are these guys talking about, man? This, that, the other thing. Let's give a self-coaching example. Okay. All right. So I'm a mid-level employee, or I'm a solo. You know what? I'm a solo entrepreneur, which means I'm out there working for myself, and I'm trying to get $20,000 more a year, and I'm trying to get $20,000 more a year in clients. I could really use it. I'm sending, I don't know, kid to school. I could use a better car. My retirement sucks. whatever. My brain is all over the place. I am in a cycle of work, live, and then maybe on the weekends I'm drinking and I'm hanging out. I'm just setting the stage for you. I have maybe a couple of kids. Maybe I have no kids. I'm in my 20s. I'm in my 30s. I'm a typical solo entrepreneur, or I'm an overworked middle America person who's basically work, live, boom. But I want more. I want to do more. Uh, how without a coach, what do I even do? Where do I start? What do I install? How do I hold
Okay.
myself accountable?
So here's the easy one, right? And this is a whiteboard, pen and paper, doesn't matter, right? There's the pen. Like whichever one you want to do, but you've got to be able to write this down.
Okay, so
You've got to be
you
able to
you
write
need two
this
fundamental
down.
tools. You got to write something down. So you need something to write with and something to write on.
This is not type on computer. This is because there's a synaptic piece here. Like there's a whole bunch of neuroscience behind this. When you connect with this device and you actually write it, it is a different way that it ingrains in your brain. Okay, so just trust me on that one. Whole big long science about it. Here's the piece. There's a question that you have to ask over and over and over again. You can do this self, you can do this, and this is a wildly powerful tool. Okay. So if I'm gonna coach Mike on this one, and he's gonna make it up as we go along. We get that. We understand that. But this is how it works for you.
Mike's
Mike
like,
started out by saying, I need to make $20,000 this year. I'm looking for it, I'm hunting for it. Here's all the stuff and the things. Here's the question. Why is that important? Nothing more. Why is that important? So if Michael's going to answer the question, why is that important? And then we're going to see where this goes. Okay. So
all
Mike, why
right,
is that important?
because I'll be less stressed.
Why is that important?
Because I don't want to be stressed. I'm stressed.
Why is being less stressed important?
Because I want to be healthier. Want to be happier.
Why is being healthier and happier important?
It's more fulfilling in my life.
Why is being more fulfilled important?
Because I want to be a better person. I want to be the best version of myself.
Why is being the best version of yourself important?
I don't know. I'm rolling down a list and I'm running out of
So
my
and,
why.
and so here's the space with this one. So like with Mike, this is a fictitious situation.
Right.
So
I'm trying to figure out
he's
why I need
answering
20
it
more
over a
grand.
plate.
I'm trying to figure out why I need 20 more thousand because I don't, but I'm like, all right, why the hell do I need 20 more
Right,
thousand?
because you personally don't need only the 20. Now, here's what I want the audience to understand. Here's what I want you guys to understand. If I'd have left it alone, if he'd have said to me, I'm a coach or I'm myself, and I said, I need 20 more $1,000 this year, and then I started to solve for that problem, that's not actually the problem. That's only a symptom. Like I'm prescribing a medication for a hemorrhoid when I have a headache, right? It's a total, like there's a distance between those two things. So like, why is that important? Gets you to the source. Gets you to the source. And this is straight up an NLP tech. There's a couple other ways to ask it, but from a layman's standpoint, why is that important?
I love that
Ask
tool.
until you cannot answer it any different, until you're in a loop. Now you're going to hear there's going to be a spot in a loop. Mike he almost did it earlier, but there would be a spot to where you're going to answer the question to be the best version of myself. Answer two more times, comes back to best version of myself. Does it again, comes back to, that's a loop. When you're in this loop and you keep coming back to the best version of myself, now you have to draw the picture. You have to go, what does the best version of myself look like? Who is that guy? Who is that girl? Who are they? What do they do? Like, really, where are they in the universe? What does this best picture look like? What do they say? What do they feel like? Like, use all the modalities. You're using, it sounds like you're using visual, you're using kinesthetic. Mike and I have talked about this before. Connect yourself to that space. Wherever that thing is, wherever the actual source is, Now you can solve for what the source is. That is a wildly underutilized tool, because so many times as coaches and as human beings, we're simply snorkeling. We're not scuba diving. Mike would have said, okay, I need $20,000 more. And a standardized business coach who is, I'm going to go shallow or just doesn't know, and that's okay too, is going to say, all right, well, what do we have to do to increase your revenue? You're going to go right to that space. But that's not actually the thing. Why is that important? So I can take my kids to Disneyland. Why is going to Disneyland important? Because whatever like, keep digging, dig, 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 until the point where it stops, and then you can solution based on the final result. How's that landing for you, man?
No, that's landing, and that's the essence of what it is. I mean, I've made that mistake early on in my coaching career, solving for the problem one, versus looking for problem two, which is the real problem. And to build longevity and to build lasting results, you have to have a metric that is here, and that starts there with everyone. Now, that you can flip that and say, okay, the same questions like this. I need to make 20 more. Okay, but then do I want to stop spending 20? In other words, if I stop spending 5, I only need to make 50. You could play these dumb games with, oh my God, I need to cut out a cable. I need to do this. I need to do that. You're chasing back this way to try to make up for the fact that you can't go that way. And you're sort of bouncing up and down on a timeline, and you just don't even realize you're just clapping your hands in different spaces. You don't even realize the
And
heck's
you
going
don't know
on.
why.
You're caught. It's not even a loop. You're in a line. You're going,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, save expenses. Okay, concentrate on revenue. All right, stop spending. Start spending. Oh, I got more money. Okay, I'm going to live a little bit more. Up.
Oh, you mean the
I've done
American dream? Is that what you're referring
it.
to?
And listen, Jake. A core component of what we do is look at profit and loss. So yeah, there's value. There's value there. There's value there. There's totally value there.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get into these bigger pictures and you're trying to go on a company level and you're trying to look at it from a business standpoint, it's the same theory, man. Why are you spending so much? Why are you not earning enough? Why are you concentrating on anywhere you're concentrating on? What is your trigger? That to me is the most powerful tool that I've come across in a long time. Actually, we've unearthed, I should say, in a long time. And it, as I'm going through this and I'm trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes, it's hard for me to answer questions that don't apply to me. But I mean, it always applies to me. Who couldn't use an additional $20,000 from a surface level? And okay, so what's my why of wanting, right? What's my why of wanting? Why do I want anything? Why are we doing this? It's to be able to be like I just was, as vulnerable as possible, and we could share this, right? This is quality, impactful information. And a lot of people out there are putting themselves under false pressure because they don't have anything in here that they're lining up with. You're comparing yourself constantly. We got to go here in a minute, but we talk about using other mentors. Well, yeah, okay, great. Use the whole internet as a mentor.
Yeah.
Morally and ethically sound stuff, right? But know here what's going on first before you go listening to somebody else, before you falsely compare yourself to somebody else.
Because you've got
So
to understand your problem. Because if you don't understand your problem, you're not going to find the right mentor that has the answer or the solution to the real
oh,
problem.
you'll find some false deities there, and you'll find some cool things that
You
make
bet.
sense at the time. And there's a ton. Everyone's got great information. Everybody. But it just to sustainably utilize and benefit from it, there's a reason why people don't. They don't. There's just a reason why people fail, and I believe that's the number one reason. What we just covered today could probably be the most powerful tool that anyone has shared on the internet ever for free, ever. I mean, ever. Seriously. So, all right, man, we're
What?
about out of time. You want to close this out, Jake? Any parting words?
Yeah, man. I would tell you the affirmation that Michael gave you is super powerful, and that is the get up in the morning and tell yourself, nobody does it better than me.
Yep.
All
All right,
right.
everybody. We'll
We'll
see
see
you
you
next time.
guys on the other side.